Distinguished guests, 11 we do have a video about the 11th Sustainable Development Goal. Afterwards, we are going to be talking about smart cities and the digital transformation with Serdar, Sayar, Mert, Başar, and Hansın, Doğan. Let's watch the video
world
first.
is becoming increasingly urban. We'll need to build a new city for 1 million people every week to keep up, or manage the growth of the cities we already have. The battle for sustainable development will be won or lost in our cities, working with the rural areas on which they depend for food and natural resources. Mayors and local governments are already taking action to win this battle. We provide basic services and work with slum dwellers and neighbourhoods to upgrade their living conditions. We improve air quality by investing in public transport and green mobility. We protect the environment through sustainable waste management. We tackle urban segregation by ensuring quality green and public spaces for all. We protect urban cultural heritage for future generations. We monitor and regulate land use to make cities more resilient to climate change and disasters. We involve our communities in planning for inclusive and sustainable urbanization. Local and regional governments seek strong partnerships with national governments to ensure enabling legal frameworks and adequate resources, and play our full role in achieving Sustainable Development Goal 11, which is Sustainable Cities and Communities. The Sustainable Development Agenda depends on local governments.
Herkese merhaba. Ben Hansın Doğan.
My name is Hansın Doğan. I work in UNDP as the one in charge of private sector. We are going to talk about smart cities. We have two important guests with experience about smart cities, and they are producing technologies relevant to smart cities in their own companies. Serdar Sayar, Director General of Hitachi Data Turkey. Previously, he worked in Aselsan, Sun Microsystems, and Oracle. He has a 30-year experience in the industry. Since 2015, he is working in Hitachi, a graduate of Middle East Technical University Electricity and Electronic Engineering. He also had a master's degree in that very department. And Mr. Mert Başar from Türk Telekom, and he has been in the industry for a long time. He started his career in Compact, where I also started my Compact. We joined there, and now we are joining here. Thank you for coming. Previously, he worked in Hewlett Packard for long years. He worked in Turkcell, and after 2013, he worked in different positions in Türk Telekom, in TTNet. He has worked as a senior director. He graduated from Istanbul University Department of Business Administration. He is in the 50 CMOs to watch list. We will start with Serdar Bey. We will start with the Internet of the Things. He's going to define it to us. Before talking about smart cities, we better see that picture first, after which we will elaborate on the smart cities. Mr. Hansın, thank you so much for your invitation. It's a great pleasure for me to be addressing such a young and dynamic gathering. It is very much motivating for me. We have started to talk about the Internet of Things for a long time, and actually it is one of the most important technologies that is going to change our era. There are many stakeholders in that, technology producers, product manufacturers, but at the end of the day, it is a technology that's going to dramatically and radically change our way of life today. And company-wise, companies will be smart companies, and individuals will have access to smarter services, and cities will be smarter as well. When we look at the world of the Internet of Things, it is something different from the conventional information processing and technology. Speed is very important in this new era. New services are introduced, and the expectations are higher and quicker because things should be introduced in days rather than months. And for this, infrastructure should change radically. Of course, there will be conventional systems, but there will also be a new infrastructure on which we are going to design the new structure. And we are all talking about establishment of a very large, comprehensive data pool. You are an individual. You are trying to receive service from a city, and you want to increase the quality of your life. But your data are in many parts of the city, in water administration, electricity administration, telecom administration. Your data are available there, and your records are being kept there. And we are talking about bringing together all those data on a relevant infrastructure, and this is called a big data lake. This is one of the most important topics of recent times. I will give you some examples. Copenhagen is an important city because after Kyoto Protocol, an agreement was signed there, and Copenhagen set the target to become a carbon neutral city by the year 2025. And it's a very proclaiming goal. It's a very challenging goal because first you need to use renewable energies, but also it's an important thing in order to bring a new brand about the city for tourism. And as Hitachi, we established an important data pool there. And we collected the data and information from various institutions. And energy companies were one of them. Energy companies started to convey us the information whether people consume electricity or energy based on their consumption habits. The system will be like this. Based on all those information, you are going to leave the things in the hands of the companies, and companies will not allow you to run your washing machine on a certain hour of the day, but in return for that, they are going to pay you. And secondly, disasters. Disasters are another important aspect, because in Tokyo, for example, we can make a comparison between the pre-disaster and post-disaster situations, and we can detect the places which receive the highest damage, and by doing so, we can determine the places to invest and to improve. That earthquake example is very relevant to the very city which we live in, and maybe for our country as well. And I hope similar works are being conducted in Turkey as well. We know that Türk Telekom is doing that. I know the one in Antalya because we have given the UNDP special prize to you for Antalya, be it earthquake or be it otherwise. What will the effect of smart cities be on our life? Are we going to continue to live in the cities? Yes, the people working in technology, in industry, talk about these technological things in a very technical manner. Industry 4.0, smart cities, iOS, and people get confused. But it is very simple, because when a needle stinks in your hand, the brain detects it, and as a reflex, you take your hand back in order to eliminate the pain. And first, you need the tip of your nose in order to feel it. And secondly, you need a nerve system to transmit that information to the brain. And thirdly, you need to take an action in the decision-making place, namely the brain. And these three pillars are the case for digitalization. The first one is hyper-awareness, to know what happens where immediately. Is there a leakage in the system anywhere in the city? You have to aware of that immediately. And secondly, you have to have an informed decision making, because you take the information, you take the data, you transfer it to the decision making mechanism, and swiftly you have to make the decision to react. This is the most important thing, because most of the time we compile the information, but it takes hours to make the decision. As the tips of the nerve system, through mobile network or through the fixed grid, we take those information and we convey it to the center. But in the world of information, anything is a neural receptor. Your smartphones, your modem devices at home, they are all the receptors of the neural system, because we know when the electricity is gone in a neighborhood in Turkey before the electricity distribution company, because if in a neighborhood, if hundreds of modems went off immediately at the same time, then it means that there is a cut, there is a problem in the electricity supply. Maybe it's during the night time, maybe the consumers are sleeping at that time, but we can learn about that electricity cut and we can inform the electricity distribution company to fix it, and it is digitalization. And speaking about the cities, and there are lots of things that you want to follow in the cities. You want to follow the traffic. You want to reduce your time spent in traffic. You want to follow the illumination at your home. Turkey is not an energy-rich country because we import it, and we should not waste energy for any penny. We have to watch and observe irrigation, because the Third World War is expected to happen due to water. And we should not waste even a drop of water. And we are trying to manage our cities. If you erect the cameras at the crossroads, and as you know, there are some people who are watering their grasses on the parks when it is raining. You have to stop it according to the humidity level of the soil. You have to make the irrigation, and you should not turn on your lights when it is daylight outside, and you have to make a central switch point. And we do it in Karaman and Antalya provinces in Turkey. Thank you so much for your technologies. Our time is up.
Devam edeceğiz belki bu konuyu. Başar.
Of course, we will continue to talk about this issue, but on other platforms. Thank you so much.
Hansın Bey, Serdar Bey, Mert Bey.
Hansın Bey, Serdar Bey, and Mert Bey, thank you so much. It's been a very nice session. Is it your last session? Please allow me to leave because it's too much of